As dawn approaches on the Nile at the Mundari cattle camp, a young tribesman gets ready for his daily ritual of dousing his head in a cow's urine after brushing his teeth with a stick. In addition to keeping him from getting sick, the act will turn his hair orange. Children gather the fresh cow dung at the cattle camps and pile it into a mound, which is then burned. The South Sudanese countryside is home to a large number of hungry flies and mosquitoes, which is why the fires are beneficial. The Mundari cover their bodies and those of the cows with ash from the bonfires to protect themselves from mosquito bites. In addition, they shower using cow urine and also use it to dye their hair. Thus, most men have orange hair. Tribe is a small ethnic group in the Republic of South Sudan, situated about 75 kilometers north of Juba, the country's capital. They belong to the Karoo ethnic group of the Nilotic language family and are bordered to the east by the White Nile and to the west by Lac-Amadi in western Equatoria state. Their land, which is mainly flat, sits between isolated hills with lowlands containing many rivers and lakes prone to flooding during the rainy season. Other ethnic groups that form part of the Karoo include the Bor Dinka of Pariak, the Bari of Juba, among others. Life in the little documented Mundari tribe in South Sudan revolves completely around their prized bulls and cows, which represent their wealth, status, and dowry. A person's position in society is established through the ownership of cattle, the size and shape of their horns. The Mundari, like other Nilotic tribes, are very cattle-oriented. Cattle serve as food, a form of currency, and a mark of status. Marriages are arranged by the prospective groom offering cattle to the bride's family, and husbands may take as many wives as they can support, which also means the more cattle you own determines how many wives you can take. Cattle are basically their form of money. The tribe, primarily composed of cattle herders and agriculturalists, speaks a language called Kutuk na Mundari, similar to languages spoken by other Karoo people like the Bari, Pojulu, Kakwa, Kuku, and Nyangwara. The Mundari's cattle are of the Ankole Watuse breed, known for their large horns, which are central to the tribe's culture and religion. These animals are revered and considered sacred, playing a crucial role in spiritual practices, where cattle are believed to be mediums for channeling spiritual energy. They live in symbiosis with their cattle, and nothing is more important to them than their herds. Offer money to a Mundari man, and he will tell you to bring Ankole Watuuses instead. This means in order to trade on their land, one would need to change their currency by purchasing cows to that amount. Unfortunately, cattle are also the main source of conflict clashes. Conflicts don't usually arise over common resources such as land, but rather over animals and their ownership. As such, the tribe use rifles to watch over their large horned herds, as a single cow or bull can be worth up to $500 or €348. Every year in South Sudan, around 350,000 cows and bulls are stolen, and over 2,500 people killed by cattle rustlers. These animals are treated like members of the family. When the herds return back from the pasture, they know exactly where their masters are and where their home is. As dawn approaches on the Nile at the Mundari cattle camp, a young tribesman gets ready for his daily ritual of dousing his head in a cow's urine after brushing his teeth with a stick. In addition to keeping him from getting sick, the act will turn his hair orange. Children gather the fresh cow dung at the cattle camps and pile it into a mound, which is then burned. The South Sudanese countryside is home to a large number of hungry flies and mosquitoes, which is why the fires are beneficial. The Mundari cover their bodies and those of the cows with ash from the bonfires to protect themselves from mosquito bites. In addition, they shower using cow urine and also use it to dye their hair. Thus, most men have orange hair. Tribesmen smear peach-colored cow dung ash on their skin and that of their cows from cow dung fires, which is also believed to provide spiritual protection for them. It has the consistency of talcum powder and is a natural antiseptic and mosquito repellent, offering both man and bovine protection from the scorching Sudan heat. In common with other Nilotic tribes in Sudan, the Mundari practice ritual scarification as a rite of passage into adulthood for young men. The initiates live together and spend 3 months with a village elder away from the community. During that time, they must live in nature and stay naked. Once their initiation is finished, they will be learned with skills to kill a cow, and they would therefore be referred to as men. The scarification on the forehead of men is performed during the initiation ritual. Through the use of knives, 5 successive V-shaped marks are made as a reference to the horns of the cows. The typical Mundari scar pattern consists of 2 sets of 3 V-shaped lines, each on either side of the forehead, extending in a downward slope and unconnected in the middle. The cattle camps are a learning space for the Mundari boys. The elders teach the younger generations the tribal ways until they are mature enough to pass the rite to become adults. From an early age, young people take up wrestling as a serious hobby. They host wrestling matches every day, and the top wrestlers continue to compete until they are too old. The majority of the community's male residents reside in the cattle camps. However, some women work alongside them. Pregnant women, the elderly, and other members of society sometimes settled in villages with stunning huts away from the cattle camps. Young adults, teenagers, and kids go to cattle camps to take care of livestock that moves in time with the rainy seasons. With low rainfall and high temperatures, this region of South Sudan is particularly prone to drought. The herds can occasionally number up to 850 animals, and obtaining enough food for such large herds in desert places requires regular mobility. In Mundari culture, camps are set up near the Nile at the end of the dry season, since it's the only area that's still green enough to feed the animals. Friendly and peaceful by nature, the Mundari are nevertheless armed like most tribes in South Sudan. Decades of war have made guns ubiquitous and easy to obtain. However, the Mundaris seem to have no interest in warfare, as weapons are used to protect their heads from cattle rustlers. Everyone plays their role. The men lead the cows into fields during the day and regroup them in the camp before sunset. The remaining in the camps clean and prepare food for everyone. The children clean the ground of the camp every morning by collecting the dung and burning it at sunset. The Mundari also drink cattle urine in the belief that the cow urine infuses purity. They also combine urine with ashes to polish the magnificent horns of the cattle. At night, the camp is filled with the sound of music made by cow horn flutes, and people gather around fires, sleeping under the stars near their cattle. The herders must remain vigilant to protect the livestock from predators such as jackals, hyenas, and wild dogs. The Mundari, generally peaceful, are nevertheless armed due to the prevalence of cattle rustling incidents. If you enjoyed this video, kindly like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching.